Hello everyone, Meat Department here and welcome back. So today we're going to discuss the Fury Warrior and the level 70 class tier set from the raid guys. We're going to go over the set, the bonuses, the Annihilator build, and how everything ties together with the talent points, the rotation. Then we're going to go ahead and run a couple 2-minute tests on the training dummies to see how this set compares versus a set without any of the set bonuses. Roughly the same item level, kind of see how the rotation feels actually playing, and we'll look at the DPS, the Enrage uptime, the Ashen Juggernaut Execute uptime, the amount of cast, and really get a feel for which is better, which feels better, and is the set actually good, guys. So grab your popcorn, drop a like, and let's get going on this bad boy right here. So I want to open up my character and show you. I am in the Dragonflight beta right now. We are level 70 Fury Warrior, and I do have the Stones of the Walking Mountain set on this guy, the 5-piece set. As you see, the set bonuses are 2 and 4 pieces. So 2-piece, the execute chance to critically strike is increased by 10%, and with the 4-piece guys, sudden deaths chance, the proc chance basically is a lot more. And yeah, it is noticeably about 2 to 2.5 times more procs, guys. So that's what we're gonna do on the first test here, and my eye level is 399. Now jumping into the talent points, guys, this is the Annihilator level 70 build right here. So basically what this is it's a new kind of build that is introduced in Dragonflight with these talents. It's a little minor tweak from what we're used to in Shadowlands. What it does is basically tosses Raging Blow out the window, and instead Annihilator right here, it basically replaces it, becomes a passive ability that affects auto attacks. They deal a lot more damage and generate 2 rage each. So that's the whole point. You basically don't use Raging Blow anymore, guys. The whole point of the rotation is to Rampage, Bloodthirst, Slam, and Whirlwind as your fillers. Slam and Whirlwind are the fillers. Of course, then you got cooldowns to use as well. So going over some of the specs here, guys, this is what it looks like. We basically give up a lot of the AoE in this build with the Meat Cleaver, Whirlwind, and all that stuff, but the talents we do take enhance critical strike and damage chances of your Annihilator auto attacks and your Bloodthirst, because that's what you'll mainly be using. We also have some heavy hitters here with AoE burst, right? There's Ravager we took over here, there's Odin's Fury, and on the warrior point side, Spear of Bastion. All those big burst rage generating moves, and they kind of align well with the cooldowns, avatar, and all that stuff, guys, as you'll see coming up shortly. But I want to show you some critical points here to this build. So as you see, we definitely have to take the execute ones for this particular build. So we're going to want improved execute. Sudden death, of course, is kind of needed, and mostly all builds have it anyways. We want to go down and get Ashen Juggernaut so that we could stack the execute basically critical strike chance up to 5 times. So you could have 50% critical strike chance, and if RNG hits you right, you could literally have this up 90+% of your fight, and yeah, that's going to improve DPS. Along with that is Massacre talent, so you can start executing things when they're at 35% HP instead of 20%, and it reduces the cooldown, because as you know, Fury does have a cooldown on execute, minus 3.8 seconds with that and some of my haste, guys. But some other critical talents here on this side are the improved Bloodthirst. Focus in Chaos is awesome, because when you're enraged, your auto attacks can no longer miss. So that's critical, right? Because that goes hand in hand with Annihilator right there. So that is definitely needed. With that comes Cold Steel, Hot Blood. So we put a little bit of a bleed on our, mobs that we attack. And then there's other ones that increase the bleed damage of that and Odin's Fury, guys. There's Blood Craze to increase Bloodthirst critical strike chance, because that's really our main ability to generate the rage. And then we're just going down following Deft Experience into Storm of Swords. This one's good, although it increases Whirlwind and Slams cooldown, it actually increases the damage and rage generation as well. And for fillers, that is a good thing. So what I did with that was also pick Barbaric Training on the warrior point side. That actually does deal more damage for those fillers and the critical strike damage as well. So because we actually do hit those more often than not, I decided to opt for that rather than Seismic Reverberation, which I did have at first. But you know what? We're not doing too much AoE, and the Whirlwind is kind of not the main focus of the Annihilator build here, guys. This is more of a raid, single target-ish setup, just so you know. So with that, we of course have dual wield specialization. We have Avatar as well, and with Avatar we have Titan's Torment to activate Odin's Fury and vice versa when they're cast on each other to kind of just, you know, align things right properly. So here is the build right here as you see, and we're gonna go ahead and run those tests right now. So right now we have on the actual tier set, so we are going to have, you know, those actual bonuses to execute critical strike chance and sudden death proc. So it should be a pretty clean, pretty more active, I guess, rotation is what I'm thinking compared to when I take it off and do the other test. Now it's going to be 2-minute test, guys. Keep that in mind. I'm going to have the stopwatch going right here above my damage meter, and I'm going to also have right here, it's going to show you all the key presses so you could see my rotation or priority, what I'm actually hitting as I'm going. I think this will help a lot of you out to see, you know, what you actually need to do. So hopefully I do all right on this one. And I'm going to talk through it, and I hope that the tier set feels better than not having the tier set, guys, because that's really what we're going for here. So let's target the rating trading dummy. I think we're good to go. Basically going to hit play, charge, and start hitting this bad boy for 2 minutes. So let's go ahead and get this started. Hit play, charge, and let's go ahead and hit this. We want to get behind it because of the parry chance. We already got the execute, so we want to get that avatar kicking. We want to get Odin's Fury going, and we want to drop down that bad boy Ravager to build some rage. So now because all this stuff is going, you're going to notice a lot of rampages and bloodthirst. Sudden death procs I'm going to prioritize over rampage because I'm already in rage, guys. But you definitely want to keep going with these. Get the bloodthirst and build as much rage as possible for the rampages. Now you're going to notice here I had to actually use my first filler. I had to do slam, but that's all right, guys. It's kind of expected. So I'm going to do whirlwind now because slam's on cooldown. But as you see, most of the time you have something to click. There was a little bit of a minor delay there where I didn't have anything to click. But as you see, I am actually doing fillers here, but I'm hoping on the rampage procs with the rage. It looks like Ashen Juggernaut fell off because I didn't get any procs, and there it is right there. Just a little bit too late, but that's okay. So now I gotta do another filler. We got to execute proc. We got rampage. We can use Odin's Fury because we're in rage. We got the proc for execute. And we're just going to town, man. It feels really good when those execute procs do go off. Now the fillers are all right. So there's 2 fillers to pay attention to with the Annihilator build, and you want to prioritize slam over whirlwind because it does do a little bit more damage and gives you some rage right there as well. But man, these execute procs are awesome, dude. They're feeling really, really good. I have to do a slam right there, but then that leads right into a rampage. We have about 30 seconds to go. Another filler there. Now we kind of sit here for a little half a second with nothing to click, and that's where it gets weird. But we see recklessness is coming off cooldown, so we're gonna go ahead and hit that. Hit the proc there, the other proc. We got to get avatar going here again, and now things are going nuts. We got so much stuff to click, guys. It's kind of crazy. You got to slap down the little Ravager there. I only want to try to get it on this single target for this purpose. That's why I intentionally drew that back a little bit there. But we only have about 5 seconds to go. So let's keep on getting this, see what we can maximize, and we're going to stop hitting buttons right now at 2 minutes, guys. Let's stop right there. Okay, so wow, that was intense, not gonna lie. So everything falls back into place. It's about 39,000 DPS is what we pulled off there, and that was active the whole time. I had to do fillers a little bit of the time. There was a couple spots where it was like a half a second, nothing really to click, but other than that, the procs felt good and kept things really going, guys. So let's take a look at what we actually had going on here with the spells. Execute ended up being on this test my top damage, even more than rampage. Look at that, 19 casts of execute on this one, guys. Wow, that's a lot. 38 hits total, and 28 of those were critical strikes, 73%. Followed by rampage, which obviously is our heavy hitter, melee, which is the Annihilator, bloodthirst, gushing wounds proc, and then we have all of the Odin's Fury, Ravager, Spear of Bastion type of things right here. Oh, here's Annihilator specifically right here with the auto attack. So yeah, doing pretty darn good on that one. So 39,000 DPS, not bad. Let's look at the aura right here. So I was enraged 90% of that fight. It applied 45 times, guys. Look at Ashen Juggernaut. 92% of that test was Ashen Juggernaut. Execute was boosted up. And it only applied 3 times and refreshed 24. So it only fell off a couple times, guys, during that whole fight. So when those executes procced, that was big numbers, big damage. Now, that is awesome. That's what we're going for. It felt good, not going to lie. And I kind of like it a lot. Now, paying attention to slam and whirlwind isn't a big deal over raging blow. But yeah, so I'm gonna say that felt pretty good. So let's go ahead and dive into the second test here. Another 2-minute test. Reset the stopwatch, open the bags up, and we're gonna put on 5 pieces of the Crimson Gladiators plate set. The eye level is gonna go up just a little bit, but we're not gonna have this tier set bonus anymore, as you see, and the item level is only a few up. The stats are a lot different, right? Versatility shot up a lot. Critical strike went down and mastery went down as well. So all said and done, we're doing more base damage, but we're doing less enrage damage with this set and a little bit less crit in the long run. But I think this will be a fair test of what players could get before they get the actual full tier set. So let's jump right into this one right now. Okay, so let's see how this bad boy feels doing test number 2 without any of the bonuses. We're gonna hit play, we're gonna charge, and we're gonna go ahead, get in, do some attacks, get behind the boss, hit recklessness, get the avatar going, and start building up this enraged stuff. Hit Odin's Fury, we want to get the rampage going, and of course we got to get this Ravager down to start building that rage to really take advantage of this burst window. So we're getting off a lot of rampages on this one. I don't think we've had a single execute sudden death proc so far. Now keep in mind, guys, we do have the talent for it. I've had to do a filler, and there I am right there already sitting without anything to click, and that right there already felt bad indeed. And right here I'm sitting again without anything to click. No sudden death procs, man. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely crazy. How could we not get any so far? There's another filler. Go back to Bloodthirst. There's our first proc, man. Without those procs, things are kind of like you're sitting there waiting, and it almost reminds me of ARMS in a way. You know how sometimes you sit there if you play ARMS and you're like, well, there's nothing to really click. So Odin's Fury is back up, but I want to make sure I'm fully enraged before I click it, which I just did. And now here we go again. I did do a little bit of a filler just as Rampage was coming up. But yeah, this already feels different, guys. You are seeing it's a little bit of a slower pace, and I'm hitting fillers a lot more and waiting for things to come up because the execute just doesn't want to proc. Like right there, right? It procced right as I clicked the Bloodthirst that finally came up. So here's another filler, back to Bloodthirst, back to filler, and there's a proc into that, and that's where it feels good when it procs, because those times when you're sitting there waiting with nothing to do, you're hoping you got something to click. So Recklessness is coming off cooldown here. We're a minute and a half to go. I'm gonna pop the Recklessness right now, and then that should help things out a little bit. Gonna get the Spirit Bastion and the Avatar going, and now things should feel good. Get the Ravager on the ground, the Odin's Fury going. Get that rage going, so at least I got some Ravagers, or not Ravagers, some Rampages to click, because sudden death is actually not proccing as expected because we don't have the set. So we're actually getting a little bit close to the end here. It's almost at the 2-minute mark, and I have to end on a Bloodthirst. Oh my goodness, that one felt bad. So now the DPS is actually looking like it's actually pretty comparable, if not a little bit higher, guys. Wow. So look at that. The DPS on this one is almost 40,000. It's actually a higher DPS for the same amount of time. However, it didn't feel as fluid to play. I'm not going to lie on that one. So let's go ahead and click into this and check it out. So Rampage is the king of this one, not execute by any means. Followed by Bloodthirst, my melee, Odin's Fury, Ravager, usually the same stuff, Annihilator's roughly in the same spot here, and so forth. So Rampage is the king on this one because Execute is all the way on the bottom. I only got 5 casts, 10 hits of Execute. That is way less, guys, on that one. Oh my goodness. And then for auras, right? The Enraged was 84%, so that was pretty close as well. Ashen Juggernaut was only 44%. 3 applications, 2 refreshes, guys, compared to the 92% before. And that's why when you saw on that very first test, if I switch over to it right here, test number 1, right here, it was a lot different story. 92% with 24 refreshes. The enrage was higher, and the damage was the king because of it, and it felt good. So yeah, as you see, the DPS difference between the two is what, 39 compared to 40, so it's 1,000 DPS difference on this test, right? The non-tier set actually pumped out more DPS on this test, but it felt way worse playing. And I think in the long run, because of the hesitation and times where it's blank, it might actually not be a positive thing in the long run. But I don't really know what to say other than these are the test numbers here. You're going to want to sim yourself on raid bots with the current gear you have. Go out there and perfect the builds a little bit more, obviously. But I can say in terms of pure play style, guys, having the actual set does actually make the gameplay a lot better. At least with this Annihilator build, it feels better because it procs so much that you have less time where there's those awkward moments of there's not even any fillers to click and you're like, what do? I just sit here like an arms warrior. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first look at the tier set coming up in the Dragonflight raid, how it applies to the current talent build, at least the Annihilator build for this example, and most importantly, how it compares playing it compared to not having it at all. I will say it's good. I want to test it on other builds that are maybe more Raging Blow focused and all that stuff and see if it really makes things spammy. So I know Raging Blow, you're definitely clicking a lot more than this. And yeah, that was fun. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. If you did like the video, go ahead, smash the like button, leave a comment below what you think of the builds, of the video. If you have any thoughts at all about the warrior or questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, guys. But that's all I had for this one. Thanks for sticking with me, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.